Mangwana ni mwalelepo vukenjani klekwasa vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show that remains your portal into Africa's most potent stories. Later in the show, we will be joined by Mr. Ari Hohade as he delivers the South Africa report. But prior to that, these are some of the stories we're looking at from the broader African continent. DRC opposition postpones protest after national dialogue announcement. Ghana opposition leader jailed 20 years over illegal mining offences. Nigerian police officers arrested after alleged bribe demand from anti-corruption chief. WAFCON 2026 ready for kickoff as Morocco hosts the expanded tournament. DStv 285, GOtv 25, OneUp2.com, Network Media Hub, and NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA. That is where you can always watch Africa Good Morning. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top stories shortly.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
All right, let's get into our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Opposition parties in the Democratic Republic of Congo have postponed a planned protest after President Felix Tshisekedi announced the launch of a national dialogue. The demonstration had been organized by the C64 platform, which brings together several opposition groups. Established in May, the platform takes its name from Article 64 of the DRC's constitution, which grants citizens the right to resist an unconstitutional seizure of power. C64 has accused Tshisekedi of using a referendum on a new constitution to pave the way for a third presidential term, describing the move as a constitutional coup. The group had called for a major mobilization on July 22 to demand his resignation and defend the constitution. Earlier protests had been scheduled for the beginning of the month, but the date was pushed back after the African Union invited C64 to participate in consultations. Following AU mediation, both sides agreed that religious organizations will lead the dialogue, which must be convened before August 15. Now, Ghana's main opposition party has reacted with anger. This after one of its most influential leaders, Bernard Antwi Boasiako, was sentenced to 20 years in prison with hard labor for illegal mining offenses. The New Patriotic Party alleged that the judgment against its Ashanti regional chairman was politically motivated. Popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, Boasiako is the first senior politician in Ghana to be convicted of illegal mining since the government's crackdown on the practice began in 2017. In addition to the prison sentence, he was ordered to pay more than $10,000 in fines after denying the charges. Boasiako appeared visibly shocked when the sentence was delivered in court in Accra. He was found guilty of assigning mineral rights without approval and facilitating an unlicensed mining operation through his company Akonta Mining. Prosecutors said he allowed Henry Okum and Michael Giedu Ayusi to conduct mining activities on the company's concession without approval from the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. Now, 4 Nigerian police officers are facing an internal disciplinary procedure after allegedly abandoning their official duties to establish an illegal checkpoint where they attempted to extort money from drivers, including the head of one of Nigeria's anti-corruption agencies. Musa Aliyu, who leads the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, alleged that he was stopped in Abuja on Saturday and forced to withdraw 53,000 naira from a cash machine. Police Commissioner Ahmed Sanusi accused the officers of leaving their official posts to operate the unauthorized roadblock. The officers now face disciplinary proceedings that could result in dismissal. Aliyu's report prompted what Sanusi described as an intelligence-driven operation, leading to the arrest of the alleged ringleader and remaining suspects. Speaking to BBC Hausa, Aliyu said a policeman entered his vehicle after requesting his driver's license and threatened to take him to court for violating traffic rules. Aliyu responded that they should proceed to court. Instead, he alleged the officer requested money, saying court proceedings would result in a 52,000 naira fine. Aliyu said he requested a bank account number for a transfer, but the officer refused, prompting him to withdraw cash instead. Sanusi condemned the alleged conduct, declaring that officers must choose between being policemen or thieves. Let's get into the last of our top stories. The delayed 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations is set to begin in Morocco after the Confederation of African Football postponed the competition 12 days before its original March start because of unforeseen circumstances. The tournament now begins on July 26 when Algeria face Senegal in Rabat. Taking place only 12 months after the delayed 2024 edition, the expanded 16-team tournament will feature 34 matches before concluding with the final on August 16. The competition also serves as qualification for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup, with all 4 semi-finalists securing places in Brazil, while the losing quarter-finalists compete for 2 intercontinental qualifying spots. Group A features Morocco, Algeria, Senegal, and Kenya. Group B consists of South Africa, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, and Tanzania. Group C includes holders Nigeria alongside Zambia, Egypt, and Malawi. Group D comprises Ghana, Cameroon, Mali, and Cape Verde. Quarterfinals will be played on August 8 and 9 before the semi-finals on August 12. 5 stadiums across Rabat and Casablanca will host matches. Nigeria return as defending champions, seeking an 11th title, while Morocco, South Africa, Ghana, and Zambia are also among the leading contenders for the championship. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. As promised, shortly we will be joined by Mr. Ari Hochad as he delivers the news stories from South Africa.
Is 'n eg Namibiese inisiatief. Ons reis op die hartklop van Afrika en vertel stories van mense en hulle dorpe op verskeie platforms insluitende televisie en sosiale media. Dit is joune, syne, julle en ook almal van hulle aan die ander kant van ons grense sinne en dit maak uitsa 'n lekker ding. Kyk uit sa maande om 18:30 op NTV, 102.com, as ook op Netwerk Media Hub en NTV Afrikaans se YouTube kanale. Volg ons op Facebook of besoek ons webwerf by DStv.com.
Now, South African consumers will wait to see if the Reserve Bank will today increase interest rates as households continue to struggle with high debt repayments. And the National Treasury confirmed their fourth standalone loan from the World Bank of 24.7 billion rand. Here's Adohad with the current affairs from South Africa.
Current news in South Africa. Firstly, we go to the consumers, and that is debt-related in South Africa. The man in the street is still struggling to meet all the financial burdens that is on the consumer at the moment. And there's been a report published by Debt Busters, and they've had 18,000 respondents that they spoke to. And it was damning evidence of damning reports that came back from that report. And it indicated that about 40% plus of every household's income, monthly earnings, goes to debt at the moment in South Africa, the average. So there's a high cost of living in South Africa at the moment. Obviously also the petrol price and the diesel price that increased quite a bit as well. So consumers are concerned. There's a higher borrowing cost that might be given by the Reserve Bank, and they will meet on Thursday, the Reserve Bank, and also to discuss a possible key policy rate increase. It's currently at 7%. But currently the household debt in South Africa combined is a staggering 2.4 trillion South African rand. So it's lots of personal debt in South Africa, and then 4.9 million South Africans alone is severely impaired by credit at the moment. So it's a combination. The reasons for that is combination of higher living costs, of course, and also higher interest rates, and then also there's a high inflation rate in South Africa as well. So with a higher interest rate, it's specifically for unsecured personal loans, lots of them in South Africa, unfortunately, and the banks can charge up to 18% to 28%. That is what they ask interest rate on that, and that is because it is a higher risk for the bank. And then other components of credit is like home loans. So the prime lending rate at the moment in South Africa is 10.5%, but then you have home loans that will be between 9.5% and 12.5% average, and also vehicle loans will be between 11.5% and 14.5%, and that is related to personal debt in South Africa. Not only personal debt in South Africa, that's a problem. Also government is also, they've got a huge amount of debt as well. And also the National Treasury actually just announced that they've secured another loan. That's the fourth standalone loan from the World Bank, and that is for the amount of $1.5 billion. That adds up to 24.7 billion South African rand. So the World Bank say that is for infrastructure and modernization, and it is also for improvements in different areas, the upgrade of freight transport in South Africa, and then also water and sanitation services, which is a big challenge. And the big aim is to have a situation where all South Africans will have, specifically in rural areas, will have access to water as well. And it will hopefully also create as much as 60,000 jobs, and that is what the World Bank aim with this loan as well. At the moment, the South African gross government loan debt currently is 6.12 trillion South African rand. So that is a massive amount, 6.12 trillion South African rand. It's about 78.9% of the GDP of South Africa, and the government hope to have that down by 2028, 2029 to lower than 67 or lower than 77%. They're aiming for 76.5% by that time. More current news in South Africa is that related to the social grants in South Africa, and it is the Minister of Social Development, that is Dina Pule, that indicated that the country will save some money, and that is because the Social Grant Agency, they flagged about 420,000 that is beneficiaries for eligibility. So what happens is that there's a saving of about 1.5 billion South African rand. They found out many people not eligible to get these grants. So at the moment, South Africa have about 26 million people that is on monthly grants. And for instance, one of the categories is if you're older than 60 years of age, you will receive a grant of 2,400 rand monthly. So that is current news at the moment in South Africa.
All right, Ari. Now, earlier in the show, we spoke about WAFCON 2026, which is about to kick off in Rabat, Morocco. And we know Banyana are certainly some of the contenders there, expected to really give a good shot at lifting the cup. And also, Rassie Erasmus, who's been having a fantastic couple of weeks, has announced a 43-man squad for the upcoming matches with regards to the Springboks.
Sport news in South Africa, we start off with soccer news, and it's the women's team of South Africa called Banyana, and they will play in the next African Cup of Nations for women, and it's called WAFCON, and it will take place in Morocco. It will start on Sunday, the 26th of July, and South Africa will play in the Group B. They will play there with Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, and also Tanzania. Also, the WAFCON tournament was also in Morocco last year, and South Africa had a disappointing tournament there. They finished fourth in that tournament, and they of course won the tournament in 2022, so they can do better, and they showed some promise as well. They had a friendly game against Japan in Osaka, and South African Banyana beat Japan by 1-0, and it's Kaylin Swart. She is the goalkeeper of Banyana, and she said that the team is positive. They took lots of positives from the win against Japan, and they want to do a lot better than they did the previous year in Morocco. So that starts on the 26th of July. Also related to sport news, we go to rugby, and it is the Springbok rugby coach Rassie Erasmus that announced 43 group players. That is for the upcoming game against Argentina, and also importantly, it is 4 test matches that they will play against New Zealand. So it is on the 8th of August, South Africa will play against Argentina, and then after that, from the 22nd of August, South Africa will play 4 tests against New Zealand, and that is part of the greatest rivalry tour, and that will happen every 4 years. The next one will be South Africa going to New Zealand. So some of the injured players that will be back is inspirational captain Siya Kolisi, also Eben Etzebeth, Lut de Jager, also Sasha van Beek and Kumazulu is fit again, Franco Mostert, Andre Pollard, and Morne van der Berg, and then also Andre Estreisen, Ethan Hooker, and Kanan Moody. So lots of injured players back for the Springboks. The New Zealand team, the All Blacks, will play their first game on their tour on the 7th of August. That will be in Cape Town against the Stormers, and they will also play on the 11th of August against the Sharks, and then the 15th of August against the Bulls. And then after the first test, they will also play against the Lions. So big rugby coming up. That is the Springboks that will play against the All Blacks. So that is sport news in South Africa.
All right, Ari, and as you close off, being our true connoisseur of the good times, tell us about the Robertson Valley in the Western Cape.
Entertainment news, we go to the town of Robertson, and that is on the very popular Route 62. So it's a popular place to visit for tourists and to travel from Cape Town. It's about 150 kilometers from Cape Town, a nice, beautiful drive through the tunnel, through Worcester, and then all the way to Robertson. And it's a region that's well known for several wine estates as well. We're going to look at one of them. That's Arabella Wine Estate, and it's well known, and it's between Robertson and Ashton. And they've got brilliant wine. They've got a new cellar and a tasting room that opened in 2006. They had immediate success after the opening in 2006 as the 2007 Shiraz wine. They had big success with that, achieving a double gold at the Michelangelo International Wine Challenge. So well done to Arabella Wine Estate for that. But they don't only have good Shiraz, they only have a brilliant Chardonnay white wine as well, and also a sparkling white wine. So a great place to visit, Arabella Wine Estate between Robertson and Ashton. Also in that area, there's great places to stay. One of them would be the Grand Hotel in Robertson. It's in Barry Street, and they've got great accommodation. And one of the options there is definitely the poolside family cottage. And they also have a great restaurant that is the Grand Hotel in Robertson. They have Asian-inspired food, cuisine, also Mediterranean cuisine, and then obviously local favorites, and then seafood as well. And of course, you can pair it all with a good Arabella red wine as well, or a white wine. Then also for the sports enthusiast, there's also a great golf course in Robertson. It's called the Robertson Golf Club at the Silverstrand, and the Silverstrand is a great accommodation place as well. There's houses next to some of the holes, and but it's a brilliant 18-hole golf course. So if you want to go and play golf in Robertson, that's a place to go, the Robertson Golf Club at Silverstrand. So that is entertainment news in South Africa.
Now we close off with some economic news. Kenya's Rironi-Mau Summit Highway project is expected to benefit businesses across multiple sectors as construction continues on the multi-billion shilling expressway between Rironi and Mau Summit. The highway is intended to ease persistent traffic congestion along one of East Africa's busiest transport corridors, while the government prepares to expand the Mau Summit Eldoret-Malaba section to create a modern highway linking Nairobi to the Ugandan border. All right, this is Africa. Good morning. Those images you were just seeing were actually from our first story, which is about IMF saying that AI could raise sub-Saharan Africa's economy by 4%. Now, we're going to give that story much more attention tomorrow as we do cover quite a bit on AI and Africa. So that's going to be our first story tomorrow. But for today, that is our last story, the Kenya Rironi-Mau Summit Highway, which is set to increase Kenya's economic activity several folds. Yes, a little bit of a wordy show this one is. So we're going to go ahead and say Swerai Zakanaka on DStv 285, GOtv 25, 1up2.com, Network Media Hub at NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA. This footage is from the Kenyan presidency.
A year ago, this journey began with a promise.
This road will cut travel times, reduce accidents, and save lives.
Today, that promise is taking shape. Construction is steadily transforming one of Kenya's busiest highways into a safer, faster, and more reliable transport corridor. For decades, millions of Kenyans have known this road for its endless traffic jams, dangerous overtaking, devastating accidents, and during peak holiday seasons, nights spent stranded in long queues.
Kuna siku mimi hapa Kinari nililala nikiwa na gari ya maziwa juu ya jamu. Kulikuwa na kamvua kidogo, hiyo kamvua kalilete gari, kulikuwa December 25, 2024. Mimi nililala huko juu ya jamu, lakini kama barabara singekuwa mbili kama huko bypass, singelala, ningekuwa nimefikisha hiyo maziwa.
Every section under construction brings us closer to a future where families travel home safely, businesses move goods efficiently, and travelers spend their time at their destinations instead of on the roadside. For the truck driver transporting cargo from the port of Mombasa to Uganda and the wider East African region, this road will mean fewer hours lost in traffic, lower operating costs, and more reliable deliveries.
Tunachukua hata kama siku 4 kutoka Mombasa na Malaba. Kila mahali ni jam.
For farmers in Nakuru, Baringo, Uasin Gishu, and beyond, it'll mean getting fresh produce to markets on time, reducing losses, and increasing incomes. This is more than the construction of a highway. It is the building of strategic economic corridor that will strengthen trade, connect communities, attract investment, and reinforce Kenya's position as the gateway to East and Central Africa. This investment reflects our commitment to safer roads, efficient mobility, and shared prosperity. It is about giving Kenyans back something that cannot be replaced: their time, their safety, and new opportunities for growth.
Kama watu wenye tumetoka Nairobi, tuko madereva wa madri, tumekuja huku na kuko na mshahara poa. Kwetu employment iko. Tumetoka hatuko tunafikiria tunaweza toka Nairobi tukuje tufanye hii kazi huku. But sisi imetuleta, mshahara iko poa, bosi wetu wako poa, magari ziko sawa. Security iko. Na kazi iko sawa.
The work continues. Soon, the traffic jams that have defined this route for generations will be replaced by smoother journeys, safer travel, and a highway that serves the needs of a growing nation. A year ago, we made a promise. Today, that promise is visible on the ground. Tomorrow, millions of Kenyans will experience its impact every time they travel the Rironi to Mau Summit Highway.